Well, it has finally happened. The first major Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, was just announced, and oh man, we have a lot to break down. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're excited, because I'm going to have a ton of videos coming out about this. We're going to be covering lore, gameplay, literally everything, so if you're excited about that, then you have a lot to look forward to. But let's go ahead and dive into the announcement. Earlier today at around 2 AM, mind you, Elden Ring tweeted out this announcement: "Rise tarnished and let us walk a new path together. An upcoming expansion for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is currently in development. We hope you look forward to new adventures in the lands between." Only with an image to accompany it, and this image tells a lot. Right off the bat, we can see perhaps the main focus of the DLC. This is Miquella, the character that we speculated all along the DLC was going to be about. We can see that the hair is identical to the scene in the cutscene where Mohg is carrying him, so that is a very good thing to me, because Miquella's story is by far the most interesting in the game and deserved to be continued. So let me get you up to speed on his story really quickly. Miquella is the twin brother of Malenia, and one of 3 Empyreans we know about in the lore, a candidate for godhood, but he was born with a curse that he would forever remain a child. But in an effort to divert his and his sister's curses, he created the Hidetaka, which was supposed to be a rival to the Erdtree that Miquella would fertilize with his own blood. However, while he cocooned himself inside the tree and gave his own blood to it, he was stolen by Mohg, the Lord of Blood, and now rests asleep inside the cocoon we can find in Mohg's arena. But back to the image now. The other notable thing is that Miquella is riding on Torrent, and this surprisingly has a lot of implications. The one that I immediately think of is the line by Ranni when she references Torrent's former master. But now that we have this image, it implies that Ranni had a relationship with Miquella. What capacity though, we don't know for sure. But the fact that Torrent is with Miquella here tells us 2 things: that this is either before or after the events in the game, or in another dimension, likely a dream, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But going back to the full image now, the other most prominent feature is the tree off in the distance. Now it seems like what we're looking at here is actually another tree wrapping around the Erdtree in order to strangle it, which is why we can see the big crack down the middle and the gold leaking out. Now if you'll remember, what I said the theme of Miquella's story is creating a rival to the Erdtree, which is likely where we get the name Shadow of the Erdtree, because in the final game, of course, the Hidetaka died and is in the shadow of the Erdtree. So perhaps the goal of the DLC will be to establish this new tree and bring in Miquella's Age of Abundance. Now it was also noticed by Eridan that this image of the trees looks very similar to what an olive tree does, so there is very much a competition here. Now the only other notable features within this image are the ghost gravestones in the ruins. Now once again, these gravestones are important if this is Miquella in our image, because if you guys remember the lore of Castle Sol, Miquella was working in some capacity to bring back the Order of Death and revive Godwyn. So perhaps that's what these are representing here, are the ghosts wishing to die a true death once Miquella completes his purpose. When it comes to the architecture of the ruins here, I can't immediately match them up with anything. I do think they're mainly there for aesthetic purposes. But to give you my full thoughts of what I believe we're looking at here, I believe this is inside of Miquella's dream, since physically it doesn't match up to the lands between. What I believe is going to happen is that we're going to enter Miquella's dream and help him establish the Hidetaka. We do know from the files that there's a great rune for Miquella called the Great Rune of Abundance, which may imply that we have to kill Miquella or we receive it from him in some other way. But either way, there is definitely going to be a new ending here, because we do have some cut dialogue from Miquella that heavily suggests that, and I'll read it to you. young seedling, return to the bosom of the earth, but remember well, thou art mine. So shall I give of myself this for thee, mine abundance, mine drop of dew. Quench thy thirst throughout thy frame, blossom and burgeon time and again. Grow larger, stronger, until the day cometh, when thou canst share in my dream. Elden Ring, O Elden Ring, beget order most elegant from my tender reverie. That dialogue makes a lot more sense in context of this image, and man, that has me excited. But that's pretty much everything we can glean from this image so far. Of course, as soon as we get more information about it, I will be keeping you guys up to date here on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed. Overall, I am so excited that we finally know it's real. Let me know all your thoughts about this image. What do you think the DLC is going to be like? Where do you think we're going to enter? What level do you think it's going to be, and what bosses might we fight? I look forward to the discussion in the comments, but with all that, I will catch you guys in the next one.